Good evening, everybody.
Evening.
Good night. Good to see everyone here. So I moved here to Chicago about 1.5 years ago from California, which means I am legally obligated to let you know that it's cold here. Don't know if you knew that. Luckily for you, I'm here to say it is cold here. But I love Chicago. You know, it's a great city. You've got a lake that you can pretend is a real ocean. You've got a bunch of like ethnic food, like helpfully segregated by neighborhood. And then you got like beloved local celebrities like Kanye West, right? Yeah. But originally I'm from Jerusalem. Which is a strange place to grow up if you are not religious. It's kind of like the Sox and the Cubs. Everyone wants you to pick a team. But I root for the San Francisco Giants, you know, like the hipster atheists who are kind of over bombs. And so I was growing up there, and I was eating lunch at school one day. And the school next to us was a religious girls' school, you know, like high collars, really long skirts, real Cubs fans. And I'm eating lunch, and I hear from the school next to us, like, "What is that in your sandwich?" I turn around, I'm like, "Huh? Is that turkey and cottage cheese? You're going to hell." Now, in retrospect, I agree. I don't eat kosher still, but I mean, turkey and cottage cheese, Jesus. But at the time, I thought, you know, turkey and cottage cheese, I got to get more out of this. So I started a game between me and my little brother. We would play, in which we try to figure out, like, what's the least kosher sandwich imaginable that we can make. And our final answer, what we came up with that could not be beat, was like a bacon cheeseburger with deep fried shrimp and like pages from the Bible to soak up all that juicy goodness. And that's when I knew that I was an American. But I still go back and forth on the whole like immigrant, not an immigrant thing. So, you know, I tally it up once in a while. I'm like, you know what? Like, I've publicly disrespected my parents. So that's point one for not an immigrant. On the other hand, I cook like weird ethnic food that no one can pronounce. So that's definitely a point for immigrant. But at the end of the day, you know, I don't eat well. I never exercise. And at this point, I'm speaking mostly in memes. So I'm pretty sure it's got to be American. But I'm actually in a, you know, kind of mixed relationship. My wife is not Jewish, and that brings some really interesting opinions out of people, mixed relationships. Like I remember in high school, I had this history teacher who was trying to like shock us. He was a real maverick. He told it like it is, and he was trying to shock us into like showing that we're as racist as he is. And to do that, he turned to me and my friend Reina, who was sitting in front of me. She's Mexican. This was in Los Angeles, and he goes, "What would your parents say if you brought each other home?" Dramatic pause. Now, I was pretty confident. My mom is married to a black man, not my father, I know, shocking. So I was pretty confident. I was like, oh no, they'd be cool with it. It would be great. And he goes, no, you're a liar. And we went back and forth like that for a little bit. Then finally he gets tired of me, turns to Raina, he's like, oh yeah, Raina, what would your parents say? And she goes in a classic monotone, oh, absolutely not. They'd kill me. I'm like, come on, Raina, come on, show some solidarity. But, you know, they're interesting things. Mixed relationships. I actually got married this summer. Thank you. And more of this stuff kept coming up because, you know, everyone was from somewhere else in the wedding, and, you know, we had different groups of people there. And my wife's guests, they're all like French, right? So they're over here like gossiping in the corner, like, oh, est-ce que vous avez vu comme ils sont très mal habillés? Oh, oh. Meanwhile, my uncles are like screaming bloody murder at their children, like, Otem, boina, boina, carrega. Now the French people are all scared. They've never seen anything like this. Meanwhile, the American guests are walking around like, English? Does anyone speak English? It was great. And there's all these expectations too. Like my in-laws, they'd seen like Jewish weddings in movies, and so they're like, when do we get to hurl you to your death on some plastic chairs? And you know, like Hava, Nagila, Hava. And my uncles are like, we're not doing that shit. No way. But the best part of the wedding came the night before. My in-laws decided we have to have the local delicacy from where we were at. And so they went and they got it. They come back, and everyone's gathered around. And they bring out this huge box made out of bread with like bits of straw sticking out. So they're sawing through it. There's steam coming out, straw flying everywhere. And what's inside but a huge whole pig? Now, bringing a pig to a Jewish wedding is kind of like being a male gynecologist, you know? You're unwelcome here, and frankly, you should have known better.
Oh my God.
But luckily, you know, it's also kind of like wearing a full-on costume the day after Halloween. It's very awkward, but no one will say anything to your face. Everyone was very confused, though, except for me and my little brother. I mean, we knew what to do. We started looking for some sort of cheeseburger and some Bible pages, some deep-fried shrimp. We were on it. So that's my time. Thank you very much. You've been great. Have a good rest of your night.